Hi, I'm Stephen Montagna, a violence prevention activist based here in Madison, Wisconsin. I just want to make a couple of comments about the horrible events in Isla Vista, California at the end of last week, and some of the news coverage and web dialogue that I have seen about the case. I think it's good that we're talking about it. We need to talk about it. What I've seen that's bothered me is that a lot of people have tried to paint the perpetrator, Elliot Rogers, as a sort of anomaly. Someone mentally unstable who should have been caught ahead of time. I heard one law enforcement officer refer to what happened as an isolated incident. These types of things don't happen that often. Well, thankfully they don't happen that often, but of course one time is too many. But further, for those of us in the violence prevention movement, we recognize all too well the signs. The simple fact is that the rhetoric that was used by Mr. Rogers in several YouTube videos he posted and in the 141-page manifesto which he sent to news media just prior to perpetrating these horrible crimes bespeaks a type of misogyny and masculine identity that is pervasive in American culture. It's not fringe. The extreme part was perhaps the self-hatred and self-disdain that came through, which of course ultimately got expressed by his turning around and perpetrating murder against other people. But that's not that far removed from baseline male culture, which continues to perpetuate misogyny in many different ways. The reality, as I see it, is that violent culture is so deeply intertwined with everyday culture that it's sometimes hard for us to see the difference. It has in fact become basically the water in which we are all swimming, and yet sometimes we're not even aware that we're swimming in water. We have this rigid misogynist wall that gets put up for us. We say that feelings are feminine, and we know that being feminine is the worst thing you could be, right? In a misogynist culture, it's identified that way, and therefore, as males, we avoid it. And what that does is several things. First of all, it creates this barrier between men and women and says effectively that females are second-class citizens, not as good as men, which of course, once you've dehumanized someone, you've paved the way for justifying all sorts of horrific things being perpetrated against her. But also, as men, it cuts us off from our own humanness. I'm upset, but I remain as committed as ever. The work ahead of us, for me at least, seems very clear: to continue what I've been doing for the better part of the last 23 years. Being as visible an ally as I can as a male in the movement, but not just being an ally to women in the movement, being a voice within the male community, specifically the white heterosexual male community, that we need to look in the mirror. We need to look at our behavior. We need to look at our upbringing. We need to look at the language that we are surrounded with and that we use on a regular basis. This is the work we have ahead of us. I look forward to continuing the dialogue. Thanks.